I think I...
Hyogi-san? Wait a second.
No, I won't wait. I think I've fallen in love with you. So, if that's okay with you, will you go out?
Are you two alright?
The moment the door opened, Hyogi-san froze up. I told her to wait because I heard and felt someone else's presence entering the cabin.
Her body temperature seems stable.
Hello,
She doesn't look
hello.
too pale either. And you're drying your clothes properly. You've done well.
Thank you, sir.
It stopped snowing outside for the time being. Can you move?
I can.
Me too.
And that's how Hyogi-san was safely recovered. We ate a late dinner and went to sleep. The next day...
Yukishiro.
Oh, hi, Hyogi-san. How do you feel? Are you up for some boarding
Oh my
today?
god.
Yes, I'm fine. About last night's confession.
I understand. You want to take it back, don't you? Although we were interrupted halfway through, she was clearly trying to confess her feelings to me. But in reality, I guess it doesn't really count. Anyone might mistake their feelings for love when someone is kind to them when they're in trouble. It's a typical case of the suspension bridge effect. You calmed down once you thought about it, didn't you? We'll pretend it never happened, so don't worry.
That's not it at all. You don't understand, Yukishiro. It wasn't just a spur of the moments thing, or because of the suspension bridge effect. I really have feelings for you, Yukishiro.
No way. Why would you have feelings for me? I'm just an introvert.
Lots of reasons. You should have more faith in yourself.
I still...
You still don't see it, do you? Then I'll show you one by one. So please, go out with me.
If you're really sure...
Thank you, Yukishiro. I like you so much.
And that's how we ended up going out together. At first, I had no idea what I was doing, or even if I was good enough for her. But our relationship is still going strong, even now after graduating high school. And we plan to get married soon.
Oh my god, that's your notes for this video?
Oh no, I have...
So, hello guys. I am a PC tech. 20 years experience. I love to help and assist people that are in need. If you have any computer issues, please throw them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Other than that, I just like to bitch and complain. Cause, kinda all I got.
a tiny bit more stuff down here.
The point is, we thought RTX 4090 pretty fast, but could it be faster? Good timing for that. We're gonna be taking this 4090 Strix from its stock 450 watts of power consumption all the way to 1,000 watts. Then we're gonna be adding external voltage modification and chilled water cooling thanks to our ThermoFlex 5000 to see just how far this baby can fly. Fly, like this fly segue to our sponsor.
Corsair, looking for a thin, high quality, and portable keyboard?
I don't know if I want to watch Linus overclock a video card. I mean, it's cool, but like I've seen that before.
The annual White House Correspondents' Dinner was this past weekend in Washington, D.C., and it's typically a nice break from the seriousness of politics in Washington and a great time for comedians to mock politicians and pundits directly to their faces, while the politicians themselves get to trade barbs as well, even doing a little bit of self-deprecation. Basically, everyone is up there telling the truth for once, and they can all get away with it because it's just a bit. We're all having a laugh. Just some good old-fashioned comedy.
Just goofing.
There are also some negative angles to the whole thing because it blatantly shows just how cozy a lot of journalists are with the people that they're tasked with covering, and has led to some publications backing out of the dinner as a result. The Correspondents' Dinner, it's also seen by many to be the point at which Donald Trump committed to actually seriously committing to the bit of becoming president after he became the butt of a joke delivered by then-President Barack Obama in 2011.
Yeah, that was one of many genesis. Another one was the WGA writers' strike, which made The Apprentice
Celebrity Apprentice
made the Celebrity Apprentice primetime television when previously had been suffering in the ratings. And thank God we're never gonna have to worry about any writers' strike.
And also, CNN just announced the Trump Town.
The board of directors, WGA's Council of the East, acting modify granted by them and their memberships, have voted unanimously to call a strike effective 12:01 Tuesday, May 2nd. The decision was made following 6 weeks negotiating with Apple, Disney, NBC. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of damage. Through the negotiating committee, began the process of making a fair deal. The studio's responses have been wholly insufficient given the existing crisis writers are facing. Oh yeah, that's it's happening. Hell yeah.
And also, CNN just announced the Trump Town Hall.
We're back.
So everything is one big loop that gets shorter.
Gotta be
and
one with the
shorter
workers, man. Gotta be one with the
faster
workers.
we careen toward the apocalypse.
Fuck yes.
So yeah, but back to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We should probably point out that yeah, presidents have historically been involved in these dinners, but during his presidency, Donald Trump refused to attend the dinner every single year. But as a comedy consolation prize, here's a new photo of him from Scotland this week, where he broke ground on yet another Trump golf course. They love him in Scotland, don't they?
I think they do, right?
Anyways, the event got back to normal after missing some dates because of the pandemic. Biden has been involved during his presidency, and this past week was no exception. But Biden was not the only one who was back, because please allow us to act all libbed up for a moment. I don't know if you saw this, but everyone's favorite inside joke, Dark Brandon also made an appearance.
Oh, Dark Brandon showed up?
To what?
Roy, the podium is yours. I'm going to be fine with your jokes, but I'm not sure about Dark Brandon.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Yeah. At this point, it's definitely a completely played out meme. And we're not even sure the conservatives are still using Brandon as a pejorative anymore. Though the fact that Dems actually embraced the term and turned it into a positive might have actually had something to do with that.
They're selling Dark Brandon merch on his campaign website, too. It's over. The meme's over. It's Jover.
Still, at the very least, it is kind of funny seeing the 80-year-old president of the United States bringing a formerly dank internet meme to life. Plus, he's only considered Dark Brandon when he's actually making decisions that are popular with people on the left. And he hasn't been doing too much of that lately. No. So if he really wants to embrace the Dark Brandon persona, he better get to work on gun control, abortion access, universal health care, and so on and so forth. That student loan forgiveness that was promised, all that stuff is Dark Brandon energy, not putting on some glasses in front of a expensive dinner.
You know what would be the darkest thing Brandon could do is call up...
Like, the student loan thing is one of the best things they can do. They need to free these people from their fucking student loans. I don't understand it. Would I voluntarily give, like, let's say, towards my next taxes, $100 for that? Yes. When I said that instantly. Yes. Let's say $1,200 from everyone. Do you know how instantly that would just nuke all student loans? Gone. Take the leftovers, invest it in people, invest it in education. It's so simple of a concept, yet our current leadership fails at this very simplest of things, and it just is mind-boggling to me why this is a thing. Why does it keep happening like this? Like what? Anger. Lots of anger. It's like I'm one of those really angry old people, but I don't get to be the angry old person. I just sit back here and meh. Also, why did this video finish itself? Certainly was not the intention.
Pretty good.
Biden also took some jabs at Fox News.
Barney Stone.
That's why the Riff job.
Yeah, she's still out.
They love him in Scotland, don't they?
I think they do, right?
Anyways, the event got
completely played out meme, and we're not even sure the conservatives are still using Brandon as a pejorative anymore. Though the fact that Dems actually embraced the term and turned it into a positive might have actually had something to do with that.
They're selling Dark Brandon merch on his campaign website, too. It's over. The meme's over. It's Jover.
It is. Still, at the very least, it is kind of funny seeing the 80-year-old president of the United States bringing a formerly dank internet meme to life. Plus, he's only considered Dark Brandon when he's actually making decisions that are popular with people on the left. And he hasn't been doing too much of that lately.
No.
So if he really wants to embrace the Dark Brandon persona, he better get to work on gun control, abortion access, universal health care, and so on and so forth. That student loan forgiveness that was promised.
That's where I paused last. The student loan forgiveness. Yes. Student loan forgiveness would make such a significant impact upon the economy in a positive manner. I mean, I just don't understand why our current leadership is in such a rush to crush our own government. I do believe, the whole let's crush our government and let corporations take over. I do genuinely feel like it's a purposeful, intentful drive towards that. And I don't like that because I don't know about you, but corporations that are just purely profit driven, I do not think that they're going to have the best intentions in mind for absolutely any human anywhere ever. Even the CEOs know these are piss poor decisions that are being made. I've bumped shoulders with CEOs. I know how some of them think. Even I know they can't be thinking this is a good idea. It's just not. Not
all
for
that
anyone.
Stuff is Dark Brandon energy, not putting on some glasses in front of a expensive dinner.
You know what would be the darkest thing Brandon could do is call up Dianne Feinstein and make her actually resign from her job.
Yeah, she's still out.
So that the Dems aren't completely kneecapped in the Senate. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be real dark, Brandon.
Real dank, Brandon.
Anyway, Brandon did get some other digs in while he was on stage, and credit where it's due, it was the most energetic and lively we've seen him since that WWE-style entrance that he had in Ireland a few weeks back.
Yeah, I think in general that just pepped him up a bit.
I mean, a trip to Ireland will do that.
Yeah, he came back and he's like, this is the perfect time for the correspondence dinner. I am amped. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
It's like, you use the Irish Spring soap in the shower in the morning, and you're like, wow, I feel ready. Every day in Ireland feels like that.
Yeah. He should govern from there.
The fountain of youth is in Ireland. That's why they've been fighting over it for so long.
It is the Blarney Stone.
That's why the Brits refused to completely give it all back.
It would be so easy for them to do so.
Yeah. Anyway, here's dark or normal Brandon making fun of Elon Musk.
But not everyone loves NPR. Elon Musk tweeted that it should be defunded. Well, the best way to make NPR go away is for Elon Musk to buy it.
Got him. Anyway, Musk has not responded to this criticism, which is an incredible amount of restraint from a guy who flew back to Twitter HQ right after the Super Bowl to demand answers regarding Biden's Twitter popularity versus his own.
Yeah, so the fact that he hasn't mentioned this, pretty good. Pretty good.
Biden also took some jabs at Fox News.
It's great the cable news networks are here tonight. MSNBC owned by NBC Universal. Fox News owned by Dominion Voting Systems.
And he also singled out Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marge.
I want everyone to have fun tonight, but please be safe. If you find yourself disoriented or confused, it's either you're drunk or Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Then after doing the whole Dark Brandon bit, he handed the mic over to Roy Wood Jr., who, look, he killed it. And if he isn't made permanent host of The Daily Show, then Comedy Central literally has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Correct.
Yeah, the episodes where he was in charge were the best.
No, he's good.
Yeah, and he's already an on-staff correspondent. It's the easiest win they could take. Just,
Heck yeah.
what are you doing? It would be better, though, if he just skipped The Daily Show and took over Don Lemon's old shift at CNN, and they just give him full creative control of that hour of primetime CNN.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Unfortunately, like we mentioned before, they are going the complete opposite direction.
They're going to put like Richard Spencer in Don Lemon's old spot.
Yeah, well, like just them doing a Trump town hall. And just being like, you know what? Remember in 2016?
Remember how in 2015 we just aired every Trump rally uncut because it was like good for ratings, and
then oops,
yeah,
he became president.
Inadvertently, just made him the inevitable nominee. Yeah, good work,
well, there,
David Zucker or whatever.
As the Goofy meme would say, I'll fucking do it again.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. Anyways, he knocked it out of the park. He started things off with a joke about Brandon leaving some classified documents on stage.
Y'all give it up for Dark Brandon. I'm happy to be here. Oh, real quick, Mr. President, I think you left some of your classified documents up here. You can get to yeah, no, don't give them to him. I'll put them in a safe place. He don't know where to keep them.
And then there was this bit about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
Anti-CRT policies are an attack on black history and an attempt to erase the contributions of black people from the history books.
You're damn right it is.
That's what it is. You are trying to erase black people, and a lot of black people wouldn't mind some of that erasure as long as that black person is Clarence Thomas.
Not wrong.
A billionaire named Harlan Crow flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips, like an Instagram model, taking Clarence. This man bought a Supreme Court justice. Do you understand how rich you have to be to buy a black one on top of that? There's only 2 in stock. And Harlan Crow owns half the inventory. We can all see Clarence Thomas, but he belongs to billionaire Harlan Crow. And that's what an NFT is.
Speaking of Clarence Thomas and the rest of that Supreme Court,
killing it,
all those other justices, they're facing an ethics investigation this week by the Senate Judiciary Committee for some pretty justifiable reasons. I don't know if you've been keeping up here, but
yeah.
Surely you remember the scandal from a few weeks back where, thanks to an investigation by ProPublica, one of the last remaining outlets that does journalism.
Yeah, seriously, geez.
It came to light that Clarence Thomas had been on the receiving end of lots of lavish gifts and luxurious vacations thanks to a Republican mega donor named Harlan Crow over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah, a long time.
But that wasn't all. It was also discovered that Harlan Crow purchased property from Clarence Thomas, and not only did Thomas never disclose any of this, apparently one of the homes belonged to Thomas's mother, who, even though the house had allegedly been sold to billionaire Harlan Crow, was still living in the house as if nothing had happened at all. Also, Harlan Crow collects a lot of Nazi shit. There's a lot going on
There's
here.
a lot with him. Yeah, and also people were coming out in defense, and then immediately people would just write back and be like, oh, cool, looks like he donated to you too. Very odd that you would come out and defend this guy.
It was a really fun week where, every one of this guy's defenders, like, works for some fucking, like, libertarian institute or some shit that, like, receives millions of dollars from Harlan Crow.
But also very specifically buying
money
Clarence
protect
Thomas's-
money.
the house that his mother lives in, and then being like, you know what? I think it's fine. Just
I think the old lady can stay.
I think that this is
How
probably
old is Clarence Thomas' mom? My God.
Jeez.
Anyway, in fact, after purchasing that property, Crow paid tens of thousands of dollars for improvements to the home. The home that Clarence Thomas's mom still lives in as recently as 2 weeks ago. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Just, that's what friends do.
We
buy each other's mom's houses.
and then allow them to keep living
Fix
there
them
as
up.
if
Yeah.
nothing happened. Also, he
That's
claimed
just bros being bros.
Like, I do really hate that for some reason we have, like, 2 Supreme Court justices who clearly should not be there right now. 2. That are in there. If I know, this is just the bare minimal This is the Supreme Court, okay? That's not to include all of the other ones that Trump put in place. But Trump's already being indicted. Every decision that man has made, unfortunately, even the good ones, should 100% be put under a scrutiny knife, including and especially the judges that he put in place. If we cannot trust him with anything else, why do we still trust him with his placement of the judges? That does not make any fucking sense to me. If you catch someone doing the wrong thing, you don't just look at the previous actions and be like, hey, that's fine. Don't you think that there might have been other motive behind him putting all these people in place? It wasn't an accident that the unpopular thing of being, pro-life got through. They did the anti-abortion thing on purpose. It's not popular. Abortion, like actual safe, proper medical care for abortion, is popular. That's the status quo of most of America. Even the right side. So it's just fucking ridiculous to me that these ass clowns are up there doing this shit. Anyway, back to the Boogaloo.
Crow claimed that the improvements were because eventually he will be turning the home into a museum that honors Clarence Thomas.
Okay.
But anyways, this is obviously a clear violation considering at the very least Thomas is legally obligated to disclose these types of transactions, which he never did. From the ProPublica article, a federal disclosure law passed after Watergate requires justices and other officials to disclose the details of most real estate sales over $1,000. Thomas never disclosed his sale of the Savannah properties. That appears to be a violation of the law, 4 ethics law experts told ProPublica. The disclosure form Thomas filled out for that year also had a space to report the identity of the buyer in any private transaction, such as a real estate deal. That space is blank.
Ooh.
Weird. If everything was completely on the level, you would think someone as familiar with the laws as a Supreme Court justice would simply file these disclosures accurately.
I do also love that the idea of any real estate purchase being under $1,000.
Yeah, even post-Watergate.
Things sure have changed in this country. One house, please.
Yeah. But that's not all, because in the wake of the Clarence Thomas scandal, it also came to light that Justice Neil Gorsuch also sold some property recently. And look, big coincidence here, but would you believe that he sold that property to, quote, the head of a law firm that has multiple cases before the Supreme Court?
For nearly 2 years, beginning in 2015,
Boy, the rich keep paying off the rich to have rich things done to them. We have to be better for each other, and we have to hold our leaders accountable. It's the only way to move forward. What the fuck just happened? What the fuck? What
the annual White House then Comedy Central literally has no...
I want everyone to have fun tonight, but please be safe. If you find yourself disoriented or confused, it's either you're drunk...
Times CNN.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Unfortunately, like we mentioned before, they are going the complete opposite direction.
They're going to put like Richard Spencer in Don Lemon's old spot.
Yeah, well, the...
ratings, and
then oops.
Yeah,
flying Clarence Thomas all over the world on unreported trips, like an Instagram model, taking Clarence.
Oh, there
it came to light that Clarence Thomas had been on the receiving end of lots of lavish gifts and luxurious vacations, thanks to a Republican mega donor named Harlan Crow, over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah, a long time.
For some fucking like libertarian institute or some shit to like, just that's what friends do. We buy each other's mom's houses.
And then allow them to keep living there as if nothing happened. Also, he
That's
claimed...
just bros being bros.
Crow claimed that the improvements were because eventually he will be turning the home into a museum that honors Clarence Thomas.
Okay.
But anyways, this is obviously a clear violation considering at the very least Thomas is legally obligated to disclose these types of transactions, which he never did. From the ProPublica article, A federal disclosure law passed after Watergate requires justices and other officials to disclose the details of most real estate sales over $1,000.
Yes. Again, why do we not hold our leadership accountable? Ever. For anything. Why?
Thomas never disclosed his sale of the Savannah properties.
Because boy, you me, I bet if I go down that road out there where it says 55 at about 65 miles an hour, I damn sure I'm going to get a ticket. But these guys here literally violating policy law, being publicly bribed, openly bribed. This literal paperwork. You could look it up. Literal paperwork of being bribed. It's fucking wild. It's absolutely wild. We just live in this fucking place.
Appears to be a violation of the law, 4 ethics law experts told ProPublica. The disclosure form Thomas filled out for that year also had a space to report the identity of the buyer in any private
We just live here, man. Like, I don't know what else to say.
That space is blank. Weird. If everything was completely on the level, you would think someone as familiar with the laws as a Supreme Court justice would simply file these disclosures accurately.
I do also love that the idea of any real estate purchase being under $1,000.
Yeah, even post-Watergate.
Things sure have changed in this country. One house, please.
Yeah. But that's not all, because in the wake of the Clarence Thomas scandal, it also came to light that Justice Neil Gorsuch also sold some property recently. And look, big coincidence here, but would you believe that he sold that property to, quote, the head of a law firm that has multiple cases before the Supreme Court?
Warning,
For nearly
Captain,
2
1 hour
years,
mark.
beginning in
Please take a
2015,
break if
Supreme
needed.
Court Justice Neil Gorsuch got a buyer for a 40-acre tract of property that he co-owned in rural Granby, Colorado. 9 days after he was confirmed by the Senate for a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court, the then Circuit Court judge got one. The chief executive of Greenberg Traurig, one of the nation's biggest law firms with a robust practice before the High Court. Gorsuch, who held a 20% stake, reported making between $250,001 and $500,000 from the sale on his federal disclosure forms. Gorsuch did not disclose the identity of the purchaser. That box was left blank. Since then, Greenberg Traurig has been involved in at least 22 cases before or presented to the court, according to a political review of the court's docket. Yeah, but maybe a tiny conflict of interest there.
Yeah,
but
look,
I mean,
look, I don't know. It's property and shit. Rich and powerful people are always buying highly sought after property that other people own. It's just suspicious that, looking for a buyer for, quite a while before becoming a Supreme Court justice, and then just all of a sudden, oh, would you look? It just fell into my lap, a buyer.
Yeah.
But at the bare minimum, if all of this was supposed to be totally fine, then why did both justices explicitly leave those sections of their disclosures blank? So yeah, probably smart to at least look into this and maybe set up some more rules regarding the ethical standards of the people who are literally in charge of how our country operates. Also, it bears repeating, even before we knew about all this financial stuff, it was a gigantic red flag that Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas, was a stolen election conspiracy theorist who, at one point, texted Trump's chief of staff and tried to convince him to help overturn the 2020 election.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. But back to the ethics investigation. Here's NPR with some more info on that.
The Senate Judiciary Committee will hold a hearing on Supreme Court ethics reform on Tuesday as questions continue to swirl about the business dealings of several justices. And it will proceed even without participation from U.S. Chief Justice John Roberts, who declined to testify. Since the judiciary is a co-equal branch of government, Congress can't compel it to adopt a new set of ethical guidelines. Still, some lawmakers hope to hold the Supreme Court to higher standards. Several bills, including one introduced in February and another last week, would require the court to adopt an ethical code of conduct and establish a mechanism for examining potential violations, though they are not likely to advance in a split Congress. So yeah, classic impasse. Something clearly needs to be done, new rules in place, but we just can't do it because, even simple things that should be bipartisan, like not having corruption in the fucking Supreme Court, you can't move forward with that because our politicians are literally fucking insane.
Yeah.
And bad. And not good.
Yeah, it seems like the moments immediately following the revelations that there might have been a little quid pro quo between millionaires, billionaires, and Supreme Court justices, that would be the perfect time to actually look into this, maybe create new legislation, actual codes of ethics, and make them adhere to that. And there should probably be unanimous support from lawmakers during all of this, but I don't know. It's kind of like the gun control argument. You just kick the can, and the statement comes out. It's like, well, now's not the time to discuss this. When it really seems like immediately following a mass shooting is exactly the time that you should be discussing gun control, especially when there's a new mass shooting that resets the clock before they're even done handing out thoughts and prayers for the last one. But, speaking of insane politicians, guns, and a distinct intentional lack of empathy, Greg Abbott can go fuck himself.
Yeah, so we said this a few weeks ago. Honestly, we would have to say it every week to be specific, but we don't like covering all this mass shooting stuff in this country because they are horrific, way too frequent, and very maddening because everyone just yells at each other for a few days and then forgets about it. And before you can even start raising the flags back up from half-mast, another mass shooting. This weekend was, of course, no different, but that didn't stop Texas Governor Greg Abbott from taking the opportunity to put out the most dehumanizing response to a mass shooting in his state that we may have ever seen. Just real goblin shit.
Yes.
You probably already know the details. Basically, a dude shot and killed 5 people, including a young boy, because someone complained about him shooting his gun in his yard, which I guess he's allowed to, I don't know. Texas is an interesting state, but yeah, he was shooting his gun, just pop, pop. And they were like, hey, it's loud. You're firing a gun.
Please stop.
And he killed a whole family. So yeah, the morning after the shooting,
Wow.
while the suspect was still on the loose, and by the way, remains on the loose as of when we filmed this, Texas Governor Greg Abbott posted a photo of his golden retriever with the caption, "All smiles for the weekend."
This is after the shooting took place.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It only got worse from there because when Abbott finally did acknowledge the shooting, he made sure to specifically mention that everyone killed were actually just illegal immigrants. And also that the gunman was an illegal immigrant too. All his words and some of the most dehumanizing language used to describe the victims of a tragedy that we've seen in recent memory.
Fucking
Also,
matter.
not even
it's
true.
humans shooting humans within our borders. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, but so on Sunday, 2 days after the shooting took place, and a day after the "All Smiles for the Weekend" post, Abbott posted the following to Twitter: "I've announced a $50,000 reward for information on the criminal who killed 5 illegal immigrants Friday. Also directed Operation Lone Star to be on the lookout." Oh, be on the lookout. Okay, cool. Great. And also, very nonchalant way to describe people who were murdered in your state by a gunman who's still on the loose.
Yeah. So
the full statement read in part: Governor Greg Abbott today announced a $50,000 reward for a Texas Department of Public Safety top 10 fugitive who is in the country illegally and killed 5 illegal immigrants in a shooting Friday night in Cleveland, Texas.
Why? Why specifically when relating to the victims, if nothing else, would anyone make extra sure to remind everyone reading that these were illegal immigrants? Don't worry, they weren't people, they were illegals. But yeah, legitimately disgusting behavior. Also, the suspect
It is
still on the loose
disgusting.
as of when we
It's
filmed
so
this.
fucking
And,
stupid.
it came to light that this dehumanizing racism might have also just been inaccurate because not that it fucking matters in the grand scheme of things. She's fucking dead, but one of the victims was actually a permanent legal resident. And Abbott's office admitted that in another callous and nonchalant statement made to the press. Here's the Texas Tribune.
Wow.
Abbott's office issued a statement on Monday afternoon that suggested unnamed federal officials provided mistaken information indicating that all 5 victims were in the country illegally. Since Abbott's initial comments Sunday, evidence has surfaced that one of the victims was a permanent legal resident of the United States. We've since learned that at least one of the victims may have been in the United States legally. Abbott spokesperson Renee Ezzi said in the statement, "We regret if the information was incorrect and detracted from the important goal of finding and arresting the criminal. The statement did not address criticism that Abbott's language focused on the victim's immigration status instead of the victims and their families. Though, as they noted, any loss of life is a tragedy, and our hearts go out to the families who've lost a loved one. They're all tragedies, just some are less.
Yeah, some are tragedies, but we just only care about them when they get to a specific point. Outside of that, not really caring that much, as far as I can tell.
Less tragic than others because, well, illegals. You know. It's just like a fucking insane way to I have to clarify. The people killed here, before you start feeling too sad about a family being wiped out, some of them weren't here legally. So who's to say whether
It's insane.
they deserved it or
Also,
not?
you could maybe assume that the response from law enforcement was maybe not as proactive, considering that, and maybe allowed this guy to leave the area. Yeah, it's
what a shocker.
It's nuts and ghoulish behavior from the governor of the state where it took place. All right, let's chill out. Let's calm down. We do have more to get to today, including some absolutely inconsequential AI bullshit that is, at the very least, funny to watch and talk about, and also a very strange occurrence during a night out for fans of classical music.
You simply cannot attend the opera these days without things going hard. Check it out. All right, back to the news now. And it appears as though, if the reporting and included audio is to be believed, someone who was in the audience enjoying LA's incredible Philharmonic Orchestra was so moved by the experience that it caused them to have what is being described as a, quote, loud, full-body orgasm. I mean, that's how I get every time I'm driving up the 110 and I see that big bearded man with his violin on the side of that parking garage. I'm like, hey.
He can get it. Yeah.
I believe the Americana brand names called that guy every Father's Day. They're like, Happy Father's Day to LA's dad.
Yeah. You see him. He looks great. Sometimes the tree grows too big in that spot and you
that
can't.
Guy's probably like
obfuscated.
in his 60s now. That photo has been up there for like 25 years.
Yeah, it's very old. Also, this is like, I think this is a thing. Like, people do have this kind of response to music.
Yeah.
Certain people...
You know, before the age of social media and all this, way back, the only way you could hear music at all was to go down to the local symphony. And can you imagine not hearing any music for weeks, months, years on end, and hearing a full fucking orchestra? Yeah. If you're not having a standing O, then you're not enjoying it.
A sitting O, a standing O, it doesn't matter. An orgasm is an orgasm. I think there's a term for it. I can't remember it, but like, what is it, synesthesia or something? Is that when you can see the music? Never mind.
I think this would fall under synesthesia as well.
It's like that. The people that get off on like the licking microphones on YouTube kind of stuff.
ASMR.
Yeah, those people are freaks though. This person is totally normal.
This is what happens at post-pandemic. They go out in public.
This person having an orgasm at the orchestra is actually the most normal person on earth. They're living. We're all out here sleepwalking and they're living.
Everyone's jealous of this person.
Anyway, yeah, we're not entirely sure if the audio clip is real. It's being posted around social media, so we're gonna play the audio from the performance, and you can tell us what you think in the comments below. But here you go.
Okay, well.
Interesting. So yeah, regardless of whether or not that's the actual audio, we are inclined to believe it is. The story itself is real and has been corroborated by many in attendance and has been reported on in the local paper of record, the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah.
So here you go.
Molly Grant was enjoying the Los Angeles Philharmonic's performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony.
That's a good one, yeah.
Fifth Symphony on Friday at the Walt Disney Concert Hall when she heard what she described as a scream/moan erupt from the balcony. Quote, everyone kind of turned to see what was happening. Grant, who was seated near the person who allegedly made the noise, told the Times on Sunday in a phone interview. I saw the girl after it had happened, and I assumed that she had an orgasm because she was heavily breathing and her partner was smiling and looking at her, like in an effort to not shame her. It was quite beautiful. Multiple people who attended the LA Phil concert on Friday reported hearing a woman making a moaning noise during the symphony's second movement. One attendee, composer and music producer Magnus Fiennes, described the sound on Twitter as that of a person having a, quote, loud and full-body orgasm. An alleged audio recording of the moment, where someone can be heard crying out during a quiet beat in the music, was making the rounds on social media. Attendees who spoke to the Times said that the clip was similar to what they'd heard. So maybe that's single confirmation, not double confirmation, but it sounds similar.
Our generation's Zapruder tape.
It is. We're going to be playing this thing back for decades.
The reporting continues because fuck it.
Why not?
Friends who went to the LA Philharmonic last night are reporting that in the middle of the show, some lady had a screaming orgasm to the point where the whole orchestra stopped playing, tweeted journalist Jocelyn Silver. Some people really know how to live. However, people in attendance said that the musicians played through the disturbance without stopping.
Professionals.
Yeah. It would be funny if that was true, though. Like that meme of the guy with like the stand-up bass. What? Classical pianist Sharon Sue tweeted that she checked with someone who works at the LA Phil, and they confirmed that the orchestra continued playing.
Oh man, at least I like these two, the Internet Today show, because like at least leave it up to them to give you some kind of entertainment in the morning throughout all this fucking craziness we're going through in the world these days. God, and it is so much craziness too. Like, just genuinely.
Through the commotion. Like the consummate professionals they are, who make fucking the shittiest wages you can imagine. It's the professional orchestral musician trade is one of the most exploitive careers you can get into. These people do it for the love of music and are absolutely taken advantage of for it.
Yeah.
I would give them a raise for this one.
Well, now they got to bump the ticket prices. People are literally coming.
Come for the music, stay for the show.
I'll have what she's having.
So, yeah, we do love that the discrepancy in the story is whether or not the musicians stopped playing because of the gigantic orgasm. The Times has contacted the LA Phil for comment.
Oh my, did she have an orgasm? We need to stop the symphony. Stop. Did she just have an O? Darling.
But has not been able to identify or contact the person who made the sound. Other audience members disputed the orgasm theory, offering that the woman could have made the noise while waking after having fallen asleep. No. Some worried that it could have been related to a medical condition or emergency. No. One attendee who was seated in the row directly behind the person who made the noise said it appeared as if the woman was waking up from a sleep attack when she made the sound. Oh, that's actually interesting, because I have had the misfortune of attending the opera multiple times. Not because I wanted to, but because
I could see that happening
in some like foreign guided tours
Look,
that
man,
I've been on.
I'm not trying to be rude to the
everything, I'm
symphonies.
like, oh, this is all great. And they're like, all right, now
I love
you've
symphonies.
been walking around this foreign city all day.
I
Now
kind of
let's go to the fucking
understand
opera for
them
3 hours.
falling
And
asleep.
every
you know?
time I have never fallen asleep as quickly, as like violently,
It's like a lullaby.
as I have each time I attended the opera. The first time I was knocked out. The second time I'm like, all right, let's at least try to figure out why people like this shit. And even then, just out.
Yeah.
So
Some
this actually
people-
does make sense.
Some people, when they have opera music hit them, they just get really fucking tired. Excuse me. It's like their version of binaural beats, you know? Everyone just has something that hits them in a certain way. Some people, when they go see opera, they go to sleep. And that's the thing, too. Like, hey, man, if you do that, when you go home tonight, just play you some opera and you go right to bed and you're like, what the like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It is funny though, because it's as far as like reviews or critiques of the music go, it's literally the opposite of having an orgasm to the music. They're so bored by it, they're falling asleep.
Also, it's just the second movement. I don't know how many movements there are, but that's pretty early on, it sounds like.
I think it was what's the fucking Christmas opera?
The Nutcracker?
Yeah.
I mean, that or the second movement was that good.
I was struggling during that.
And that one's actually like exciting, or like the music at least is like very lively and exciting. But yeah, there's just something about it. It's like it does something to your brain where like Like, if this was 1800, like, I'd be losing my mind. This would be the most exciting.
This is incredible.
Yeah, this would be crazy.
The problem with that, with Nutcracker, I remember saying at the time after leaving, the problem was that once you've seen Cirque du Soleil, no opera can compare.
Yeah.
Or ballet. Sorry, ballet.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like, I understand the physical toll that they put their bodies through to stand like that and do these, you know, very subtle but beautiful jumping and prancing numbers. But once you've seen a guy like, you know, do a backflip on a motorcycle off a trampoline or something like that, it's kind of hard to get excited about.
Yeah. Also, opera voice, very annoying. The only reason they did that was because they didn't have amplification.
Yeah.
We got microphones now. You don't have to sing like that.
So I think we're on the page of this person probably fell asleep.
Yeah. The time has come to move past the opera.
Unless it was an orgasm, in which case we have to go see all this stuff in person.
What was she cooking?
Quote, pretty quickly, she sort of fell onto her partner's shoulders and then onto his lap. And then her body went limp, recalled an audience member who requested anonymity to discuss the incident.
We got sources.
Maybe like 5 seconds later, she kind of awoke, and that's when she let out a scream. I know someone else mentioned she was smiling, but I'm pretty sure she was just really embarrassed because other people were looking at her, the audience member told
Either
the Times.
way, it would
Another
make
concert
sense.
goer emailed the Times to say he heard the noise, but did not think it was a sound of ecstasy. The LA Phil's online program notes include this description of the second movement of Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5. The luscious main theme was adapted for a popular love song. Tchaikovsky's skillful orchestration, however, lifts the mood from sentimentality to high romanticism. The movement's principal melody is presented in a memorable solo by the horn, followed by other appealing woodwind solos.
All right.
So they're kind of, I think they saw the reaction and they're like, we have to play this up as an orgasm. Otherwise, it's people just falling asleep during our show.
Or she was getting,
Yeah, that's the thing, is it could be both. It could be she lost control. She was having such a violent, as they call it, full body orgasm that she lost control, went down for a sniff, and then erupted.
Who's to say? There are a lot of ways this could go, but we may never know unless this woman makes her side of the story public. I'm afraid she never will.
Yeah.
But I hope she does.
This is the one time she remains silent.
Anyway, also, we can't confirm the legitimacy of this, but it's being picked up by other outlets, so fuck it. It apparently was a pretty wild weekend for bodily functions at music venues because apparently someone ripped what is being described as a sinister fart during the quiet part of a performance by the metal band Sleep Token. If for some reason this gets struck for audio, we will cut it and leave a link in the description, but here you go. You tell us what you hear.
And yeah, I mean, everyone around the sound reacts laughing.
Well, metal music should never get quiet enough that you can hear farts. So
yeah, I think you've nailed it.
Here's Loudwire with their reporting because there's really not much else to say about this, but they know more about the band than we do, so here you go. All the chatter amongst fans is more than just hot air, as the Sleep Token's unique blend of crunching metallic rhythms, soul, R&B, and pop has connected with an incredibly wide base. What was a bunch of hot air, however, was a seriously gnarly fart that gave a new meaning to the age-old silent but deadly adage, letting loose during a soft part of the song Atlantic and loud enough for all to hear and proceed with a giggle. Incredibly, singer Vessel barely broke his vocal stride at all, even as others in attendance began to laugh. You know, this could have been an inside job. There's a pedal, the fart pedal. Maybe the guitarist threw it in. Maybe someone put it in the guitarist pedal board, and he's like, "Oh God."
Yeah, there you go.
It doesn't even. They're not even like tonal farts. It just turns it into like any sound that goes through the pedal that is above a certain threshold just triggers one of like 7 fart sounds.
I believe it was during a piano. From what I've seen in the video, it's like a very calm, quiet part, and the singer's playing like a piano thing.
What?
But again, musicians, professionals, they just kept trucking on.
Oh,
like the people that played when the Titanic was going down. Both the LA Phil and Sleep Token just kept right on trucking. But yeah, at least this one was funny. And I guess the orgasm one was too, because look, it could be worse. Last year, someone shit in the middle of a mosh pit at the Turnstile show, which is gross and also a biohazard.
Did that just get everywhere?
Gross.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it apparently ended up on stage.
You
too.
wouldn't notice that like at first because you're not.
You slip in it.
Yeah, you can't really see.
And then you do a couple spin kicks.
Oh God.
People are doing cartwheels and all kinds of stuff, just spreading it around.
Lord.
But the responses to this, you know, the pooping itself, not funny. Don't do it. But the responses at the time were funny. Someone shitted in the Turnstile pit last night, no lie.
Shitted.
And then one of the promoters tweeted, I can't believe this, but yes, human shit ended up on stage last night during Turnstile. As hilarious as this is, it's also disgusting and extremely unsafe. Please, if you have any idea who it was, please let me know, as that person should not be allowed at shows ever again. And then just a casual drama enjoyer chimed in.
Like, I'm not even trying to be rude, but that's kind of true. Like, man, look, some people are just not cut out to be out in public like that. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't like to be out in concerts. I don't know if I'd shit myself, but like, if I really had to go, like, I guess I might. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Well, at what point does it become acceptable to do that? Like, how bad do you need to have to go before it's acceptable to poop your pants? Like, this is such a fucked up question, but like, at what point is it okay? Because, I mean, if you've ever just had to do it, like, where you just hold it as hard as you fucking can for a really long time and, like, you just barely make it on time to the fucking toilet. Like, you just know. You understand. Like, it does get that bad at one point. But, like, this dude was at this concert. Like, where was he at that point? That's what ended up happening. Like, there's so much more questions than answers.
Saying, imagine you wake up and see the entire West Coast talking about you shitting on the floor at the Turnstile show. So yeah, I mean, we're not entirely sure what's going on at concerts these days, but they are breaking boundaries. That people are new, exciting ways of being comfortable in these scenarios.
Too comfortable. Everyone needs to get a little bit more uptight.
Yeah, that's a little too comfortable. I don't know if we need to...
Orgasms at the Philharmonic.
We need another pandemic. You guys aren't ready for the real world yet.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to add that for sure,
we could not do that.
A bunch of Bad Bunny fans pissed themselves because they were staked out front row at Coachella for like 8 hours. From the second doors opened until the second Bad Bunny performed, there were dozens of people that were there the entire time. And some of them had to have pooped or peed themselves. Yeah. It's just impossible for that not to have happened. Everyone just needs to calm down.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of lost it during the pandemic, and they are not prepared to reacclimate. Please be better.
Anyway, before we get out of here.
Please be better.
Yeah, there's more AI discourse. And yeah, it's all dumb. It's dumb as hell. But it's dumb in a way that makes the most vocal proponents of AI seem very gullible, stupid, and also blind. So every time a new AI video hits social media, hundreds of the loudest and dumbest blue checks on the platform start screaming about how Hollywood is so finished. Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Enjoy that writer's strike. It's the last one you'll ever get the chance to do.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's definitely the end of production jobs. All you the entire Hollywood production pipeline.
Remotely at all.
Going bye-bye thanks to AI. And that's, of course, odd, and I think voice actor Zane Schacht summarized it best when he tweeted the following after this latest round of AI is going to destroy Hollywood nonsense. One thing I've noticed about AI art people is they're actively hostile towards creators in ways I don't see from actual artists. It's not enough to say, this algorithm created a movie trailer. They have to be like, Hollywood is fucked. The old world is dying. Behold my wonders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Yes.
They're very...
That's so true, though. Like... Even I love the AI stuff. I kind of, I'm getting into it. I use it for coding. It's very interesting. Now, the art side of it, look, it's cool that computers can generate art. The fact that they have used data sets where they're basically stealing other people's art, that is not cool. If they could figure a way around that, I'd be more okay with it. But as far as the generated art, until they like unfuck the whole stealing aspect of it, like that's not cool. I don't like that at all. Yeah. But I also am well understanding that AI is here, whether we like it or not. AI is coming harder and faster than anyone is anticipating. It is way more capable of replacing people's jobs than people are thinking it's going to be. And it just takes a little bit of training to get them as far as it needs to go. Like, genuinely training an AI bot to essentially do a chat style support would not be terribly difficult. It really wouldn't. You have a database of several hundreds of thousands of tickets. You could train it on that. Like, you just have to nix out all the dumb ones. Like, yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of tickers you got to go through and do, but like, it's doable. It's trainable. Absolutely. And then with like just stuff you could find on the internet, and then with other like actual people training the tech bot, like you could just in the end create a bot of such amazing caliber and quality that like anyone could just go over to the site, ask them what's wrong, and then the shit will just like go through the steps and resolve it for you. It's crazy. I don't know. This is just like one dumb man's idea, but hey, we're all out there in this crazy fucking rock flying through space. You know, we're flying through space at like really fast miles an hour. I don't know how fast, but it's really fast. Way faster than we're ever gonna go. Well, I mean, we're already going that's fast, but you know.
Angry that they are not themselves creative enough to do anything.
And that's
correctly.
always been like,
yeah.
The thing that just immediately turns me off from these things is that at least the people using it who are most loud all seem to actively hate like creativity and art in every medium. And yeah, it's like, I mean, all this stuff, the video stuff's getting good. I'll give it that, but it's still nowhere near like no one's making a fucking movie out of this shit. It has a lot of uses for like pre-visualization.
Yeah, I like there's you're definitely not making videos out of this stuff. I don't know if anyone has seen any of the AI generated video, but it's like watching a living material try to mimic life. It's just not there.
Like this would be really useful for someone maybe pitching a script where
this is what it might look like once we actually do the work.
Like that.
Okay, actually, that would be a good use case for it. Is like script writing, and like this is what the scene is supposed to look like, kind of thing. That would actually be very good for that.
It definitely has its uses. It's interesting, but like the idea.
Again, like AI is far in a way, at least right now in its current iteration, more of a tool than like a replacement. But again, it's advancing so damn fast and so hard right now. We're not prepared for it. We're not ready for it. I just genuinely fear the point that someone takes something like Auto GPT and just goes fucking ham with it. Does some kind of terrible hack and just like leaves it on and it keeps hacking. Like I am terrified of something like that because that could happen. And if you have enough of those types of agents running using like, you know, a really powerful computer, I mean, they could take very important things down and it would not be good. Like that's the kind of shit I fear. Intel to drop the I moniker in upcoming CPU branding, so it's no longer going to be the I and i7, i5, i3 and all that. So it's just going to be the Intel 5, the Intel 7, the Intel 3. The Intel Core Ultra 5 1003H. Oh my fucking Christ. Now I'm just the companies, the CPU makers need to make better names for their fucking CPUs. They're all bad. All of the naming schemes that they use are terrible. Terrible for consumers. We need to have a better CPU GPU like system for the average consumer. Like, even as a tech fan and a tech boy that is genuinely in the field and does this shit, it is annoying to try to keep up to these lines. Like, I do understand some of the lines. Like, I don't get Intel's full line because, let's be honest, there's like each iteration has their high performance, low performance, and economical performance lines. And then, you know, they have the unclockable and overclockable ones, or unclockable rather. And there's tons and tons of little various things here and there. And hell, I think on their server chips, they even do that, like, system on a chip or service on a chip where you can literally buy a part of the chip to unlock it, even though you've already bought the chip and you have it. Fucking wild. But okay. It's just, I don't know, man.
That a whole movie
Let's
is
just
gonna be
keep
made from
going.
this. Like, it might happen, but it's not gonna be good. Because this isn't the thing. The thing that makes movies good is their originality, their creative point of view. And this shit is just like putting every movie that's ever existed in a fucking blender and just shitting out like something that, I mean, it's basically doing what a lot of movie studios are already doing. So I guess in that sense, but like,
yeah, eventually it's going to be like a bunch of purists who are like, oh, I only watch movies that are written and produced by humans.
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
But
so look, what's killing Hollywood now? Well, honestly, probably the writer's strike. If the studios don't get off their lazy, greedy asses, start meeting some demands. But on Twitter, AI is responsible for the death of Hollywood productions, even commercials.
R.I.P. Hollywood.
Because over the weekend, a few examples of AI-produced commercials started appearing, and we're just going to show you some of this stuff because, I mean, we're actually wondering, are these people blind? Or are they just blinded by their fanaticism about AI taking jobs away from actual creatives?
This only makes sense if you are sitting like across the room from your computer, like looking at it from so far away that you're like,
any pause or any just looking at it for more than a second, you're like, these are monsters.
Yeah, this is eldritch terror.
Yeah, here you go.
Are you ready for best pizza of life? Bring friends down to Pepperoni.
Oh, no.
Our chefs make pizza with heart and special touch.
No.
Cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things. Need delivery? Pizzas come fast. Knock, knock, who's there? Pizza magic. Eat Pepperoni Hug Spot pizza.
No.
Say thank you.
No.
Pepperoni Hug Spot. It's like family, but with more cheese.
Oh, God, no. I don't even understand what the hell.
Yeah, that looks like fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we wouldn't put it past big Hollywood studios or even smaller production companies to use this tech to make a commercial for a product.
Wow.
Quiznos isn't doing so good anymore, but I could see them really.
Quiznos did have those weird little animals.
They
20
love
years
the moon.
ago. Yeah.
But yeah, we're not entirely sure that this is going to yield the results that they're hoping for. Also, with the writer's strike looming, it will be interesting to see if some absolute moron executive decides to test the union and just starts pitching AI as a replacement, because
I just partially want to see the movie made with the current generation of AI video. Like, it would just be a horrifying, like, maddening creation of everything, like, uncanny valley that you could possibly imagine.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
I kind of hope they do it.
Everything is wrong with this.
Well, the problem is the results won't be visible for a year with all the stuff that's going into production. So
That's true.
everything that's already been written and produced, everyone for like the next 6 months is gonna be like, whoa, look, what nothing bad has happened except for the late night shows aren't in production. But again, as people pointed out, like 16 years ago, you had Conan O'Brien, who is a comic mastermind who can at least kill some time.
Yeah, and even he made it like meta enough that it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. Anyway, we're sure that some of you are old enough to remember the writer's strike from 2007. But yeah, it was a wild time. If it happens again, things could get a lot weirder. Looks like.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you updated on that.
It's Saturday Night Live featuring ChatGPT and Bobby Moynihan.
Luckily, a lot of the actors and the rest of the production people are on the side of the.
Look, I use ChatGPT, and I don't think that thing should be making songs up, because that... I don't know about that.
Redfall. So the reviews are out, and they are absolutely brutal. And I think a lot of people had a bad feeling about this game. I was hoping that Arcane could somehow bring it back and just, ultimately succeed with this endeavor, but alas, it looks like it wasn't meant to be based on the general feedback and discourse that's out there. And there were already signs that this game was going to ship underbaked. So, for example, the fact that they announced that on consoles, the game would launch with only a 30 FPS quality mode, no 60 FPS performance mode, that was already a sign that this game was underbaked and that it was kind of being rushed to launch without it being fully developed with all of its features and everything being smoothed out. But then there were questionable choices like the fact that multiplayer progression only carries over for the host, whereas all the other players participating, they only get to keep the loot, but progression...
The loot stays, but the progression doesn't? This is 2023? Wait. This is a current day game, right? Redfall, this isn't like a...
Wise, they don't get to get any of that. And then there is the fact that even on single player mode, the game would require an online connection. Now, the folks at Arcane have said that they're going to aim to remove this requirement, but at launch, unfortunately, the requirement is there, that it is a restriction that people are going to have to deal with until whenever it is they'll remove that. And then there's the Denuvo on PC controversy, Denuvo being a controversial DRM software that does negatively impact performance. So all of that were already negative signs, but then we look...
Yeah, Denuvo is absolute fucking trash. Stop using Denuvo. Like, you stupid-ass execs. You're not even saving any of yourself. You're literally just giving the pirates a better version of the game. You fucking halfwits. Stop. Get some help. You aren't losing that much money. I promise you're not. Those pirates are only going to spread the word of the game, and you know what? Yeah, there is going to be people that will pirate your game, but there's going to be those people anyway. So just let it happen. You're still going to make your sales. Although, side note, at least finish the fucking game first.
Look at reviews, and the scores kind of speak for themselves. So on PC, we're looking at a Metascore of 62%. On Xbox Series X, slightly higher at 64%. And looking at the array of scores that are out there, there are not many that are in the green, that are in the positive range. The vast majority of reviews are sitting in the 70s and 60s, and there are quite a few that go further below into the 40s and whatnot. And those who are still reviewing the game and are doing a review in progress and don't have a score to give out yet, they're not expressing enthusiasm for this game. On the Xbox side of things, we're looking at one review that gave it a 90, but the rest, the vast majority of them, once again, are sitting in the 70s and 60s. A lot of 60s, in fact, some 50s here, and then a decent amount of 40s to bring the score down quite a bit. And once again, you look at quotes from the reviews that have not scored the game yet, and they're not particularly enthusiastic about this. And I've watched and read through a bunch of reviews, and here's the basic summary of what a lot of them criticize this game for. There is the fact that the story is pretty lacking, despite some cool lore definitely being present. Unfortunately, the way the story is presented is through these slideshow cutscenes, a lot of like graphics, nothing actually fully animated in 3D. A lot of the story is told through things like text logs or glorified audio logs. Just the presentation is not really there. It feels very basic, and so it's really hard to get into. There's also false marketing elements, like the fact that the trailers...
You know, I hate to say it, but I do think that if you were designing a truly 3D game like this, you're a major studio, you can probably do better than that kind of cinematic sequence at this point. Like, come on, guys. Like, I know if I'm by myself, yeah, I could understand why I by myself might not be able to make an entire cinematic game trailer, you know, and our cinematics in between each scene, because I'm literally only one person. But look, man, you're a whole studio. You actually have hundreds of people. The fuck are you doing with them?
For this game showed a lot of pre-rendered cutscenes that many hoped would be representative of the kinds of, narrative elements we'd see in the game in terms of presentation, but that was all just for marketing. That kind of stuff is nowhere to be found in the game, nothing cinematic like that. And so, video games is the only medium that I know where you can make marketing material that is completely irrelevant to the final product, and it's frustrating that companies still do this. And then once you delve into the gameplay, the open world is said to be empty, boring, and bland. There's not much in the way of like NPCs to talk to and characters to get to know and whatnot. A lot of the design of this game is dictated by menus that you select through to take on quests. There's a lack of attention to detail and intrigue when it comes to environments and when it comes to just navigating the world. And there's also just the general lack of fun and interesting scenarios. Blandness is a word that I'm going to bring up a lot in this summary of the reviews that I've read and what generally people have been saying. Stale level and mission design, just lots of like basic fetch questy stuff that ultimately results in a big action sequence where you're going to be taking down some vampire. So yeah, it's just not a whole lot of variety as far as missions go, or not a whole lot of compelling.
I mean, again, like, if it's done in, like, a really good way, or you're, like, a single-person writer, I can understand that. But, like, if you have a whole team of writers, where are the team meetings here? Where is the get-together? Where is the good stuff? Like, you're trying to get everyone together, make a really good story. Where are you? Like, damn, man. It's just stuff like that could be so good. And then it's just not. Almost a little sad. Makes me a little sad. Illuminati responds. Steven Crowder, Neander's dream. Jeez, I don't even know what's going on with all this stuff. Wow, excuse me. I does not know what to watch next. And I don't know if I want to do coding this morning. Man, the past 2 weeks have been such a roller coaster ride for me. I cannot brainwave to do things right now. It is absolutely killing me. I'm a little angry by it, because I'd like to do some stuff again. I want to be, like, hell, I would love to be able to stream to my gaming channel Stories in Space Time more. Like, I literally created this thing years ago with my love, and I have just had such bad mental issues that I've not been able to do it, and it's just depressing for me. Like, it doesn't help, it just kind of compounds my own issues on top of themselves. Like, it's dumb. AI not allowed to use nukes. Yeah, okay. Alrighty, though. I think I might call it because I don't see anything particularly fantastic or beautiful that I want to go through or on or anything like that. Subscriptions. School fire. No, it's not. I'm back. Long break. People, she lied, don't care. Yeah, no, none of this other stuff is something I really want to go through, so, well, we'll call it here, guys. It has been an excellent day, a little bit of a morning, watching these fun boys talk about their internet today. We still have no computer questions in the chat, no computer issues. I mean, I really am browsing or advertising for that today. Tomorrow I'll probably return to my normally scheduled morning IT stuff. It's just, again, it's been a fucking crazy few weeks, and the ball is rolling up the hill. Like, it's good. It's not bad anymore. It's just like one thing after the next, though, in such a fucking crazy way that, like, it could end now. Like, please. Not like life. Not like that. No, don't get me wrong. Like, just the ups and downs. Like, I would love a level plane just for like a few months where I could just relax for a bit and not have to worry about shit. Cause whoo boy. Woo boy. Like, there's the general worry and stuff for me has not been fantastic. Stress levels have not been fantastic. That kind of stuff. Anyways, I feel like going to bed. To bed? Yes, that's what I... Could tell it's morning time because I'm not a huge morning person. I'm actually like not a good morning person. I'm just getting confused and tired now. Anyway, I'm actually genuinely gonna go exercise, try to get some of this G Fuel to work its way through me. That kind of thing. Have a good one, guys. Take your snacky doos. Make sure you get your morning pills, all your morning whatevers, exercise. Y'all have an excellent and safe rest of your day. Peace.